Hello friends, this is Priyanka. Today we are going to solve a problem on orthographic projection. So let us first understand what is this orthographic projection. So in this we have given the three-dimensional object and we have to convert it into the two-dimensional views, that is the front view, top view and side view. Now we are going to solve this problem by the first angle method. So in this first angle method, front view is considered as the principal view. So let us first understand what is the given problem. So here the three-dimensional object is given. Now for this three-dimensional object there are two sides. So right hand side and left hand side. So we have to consider this right hand side and left hand side. Now we will select which will be our front view. So for the selection of front view we have to select such a side that which is having maximum length. So if we observe this given three-dimensional object, this right hand side is having the length is equal to 130 plus remaining 20, that is 150 millimeter, and for the left hand side there is only 40 plus 40, that is 80 millimeter. So we will select the front view for having the length 150 millimeter. Now let us first decide what is the length, width and height. So how this length is getting decided? So if we observe this right hand side for the three-dimensional object, then we will move from right to the left. The total length is given 130. Now this length is ended up to the end of this small hole and we have to measure now what is the remaining distance. So how to measure? So if we observe that the arc of the base and the small hole is having the same center. So this small hole having diameter 40 and this base arc or the curvature of the base is having radius 40, that is given. So now from the center what is the radius of that small hole, that is 20, and what is the radius of that curvature, that is 40. So 40 minus 20, that is 20. So remaining distance is 20 and we have to add that remaining distance, that is length is equal to 130 plus 20, that is 150 millimeter. Now we will measure the height. So if we observe the height is directly given, that is 100 millimeter, whole height is given. And now what is the width? So if we observe the curvature of the base, so curvature of the base is having radius 40. So this 40 plus 40, that means it is 80 millimeter. So we can say a width is equal to 80 millimeter. Now we will plot the front view, top view and side view. So what is the basic construction? So we have to first take or draw the x-axis, that is the horizontal line. We will consider this as a x-axis and vertical line we will consider it as a y-axis. So first draw these two lines and then keep some distance on both sides of x-axis and y-axis. So I have selected here 1 centimeter distance on the above and below of x-axis and here on both sides of the y-axis, and draw the parallel lines passing through that point, so that when we draw front view, top view and side view, some distance will be remain in between those views. So this structure is important, or we have to keep some space so that select these lines. Now we will move for the front view. So front view, what it indicates? So if we select this right hand side as a front view, then we have to plot this front view on the left hand side of this structure. So if we observe the structure, because of x-axis and y-axis, here is the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant, and this will be our right hand side and this will be our left hand side. That means y-axis is making two sides, that first quadrant and fourth quadrant will be on the right hand side and second and third quadrant will be on the left hand side. So now in the given object, or front view selected is on the right hand side. So we are going to plot the front view on the left hand side in this two-dimensional projection. So here what is the front view indicate? So if we observe this object from the front or from the right hand side, then we can see clearly the total length, and we can also see clearly what is the total height. So we will plot here the total length and total height. So what is the length? So length is 150, and what is the height? Height is 100. So we have to select the point. So we will select here the point having length 150 millimeter and having height 100 millimeter. Now these 2 points are getting selected. So now draw the vertical line and horizontal line passing through these points. So this will be the outline of the front view. Now next will be the top view. So when we observe this object from the top, so we can clearly see what is the total length and what is the total width. So in this first angle projection method, top view is getting vertically aligned with the front view. So we have to plot the top view below the front view. So we have to draw the lines from the front view in vertically downward direction. So take this line parallel to the y-axis, and now here project the lines in vertically downward direction. Now width is there, that is in the top view. So here will be our top view. Now width we have to plot. So what is the width here? 80. So we have to select the point. So here I will select the point having width 80 millimeter. Now from these 2 points we have to draw the so here is the top view. Now next view is the side view. Now this side view is getting horizontally aligned with the front view in first angle projection method. Now when we observe this object from this side, then what we can see clearly? We can see clearly what is the width and what is the height. So this height is getting horizontally aligned from the front view. So draw the horizontal projections from the front view to the side view. So our side view will be here. Now what about the width? So we can directly select the width, or we can take the projection from the top view. So how to take the projection from the top view to the side view? So here is the remaining fourth quadrant. So here take the line that is splitting this fourth quadrant into two parts, that is 45 degrees. So this line will be at 45 degree. Now we have to project this line that is parallel to this x-axis up to this 45 degree line. Now here is the point of intersection. Now from this point of intersection we have to take the vertical line, and here will be our projection. So this will be our side view. Now we will observe the front view. So for the front view, towards the right hand side of this front view there is the construction, and this construction is for length 80 millimeters. So on the top of this front view the length is given 80 millimeters. So we have to select the point for the 80 millimeter at the top. So here is the point for 80 millimeter. So we have to give here the dimension, that is 80 millimeter. Now there is the construction of the blocks for this 80 millimeter length. So what is this construction? So if we move from right hand side towards the left hand side, there is one block. So this block is having length 24 millimeter. So we have to select here one point of length 24 millimeter. Then there is gap of 38 millimeter. So here we have to select the distance of 38 millimeter gap, and this total length is 80 millimeter, and here is in the remaining distance there is again one block. So for this block, what is the height of the block? So height of the block is 20 millimeter. So we have to select one point of 20 millimeter on this height. and we have to complete the structure of the block. So here is the gaps for 38 millimeter. So we have to keep here one gap, and here is the construction of block. In the same way, here is from the remaining distance, here is also the construction of the block. Now if we move for the bottom of this front view, then there is the semicircular structure. Now where is the center of this semicircle? So if we observe, the horizontal line is passing through the 20 millimeter height. And where is the vertical line? So this vertical line is in between the middle of this 80 millimeter structure. So this is the 80 millimeter structure, or we can say construction in the three-dimensional object. So we have to select the middle point and we have to draw one vertical line. So this is the line passing through the center. So we are going to draw this line in the form of dash and dot. So whatever is the line passing through the center of circle or semicircle, we have to draw in the form of dash and dot. So here is the line passing through the center in the form of dash and dot. Then there is the horizontal line that is 20 millimeter above from the base. So here is, we have to take 20 millimeter height and we have to draw one line in the form of dash and dot. So this is the point of intersection, and that will be the center. So what is the radius given here? So radius is 24 millimeter. So in the compass we have to take 24 millimeter distance and we have to draw one semicircular arc. So that will be our semicircle structure. So in this way, this front view is getting completed. Now for the remaining left hand side distance, here is the base only, that is having 20 millimeter height. So we have to complete this base. So this is the front view. Now we will move for the top view. So this top view is getting vertically aligned with this front view. So we have to draw the projection line in the vertically downward direction from front view to the top view. So we have to draw all the projections. So here is this for construction of the block, we have to draw the projection. So with the help of red marker, I have drawn the projection lines. In the examination, the projection line should be faint, so we have to use the 2H lead pencil, and the construction line should be darker than this projection line, so we have to use the H type lead pencil. Now this center line we have to also project in the vertically downward direction. When we observe this object from the top, then which structure we can observe? We can observe that semicircular arc on the base. Then we can observe that 4 blocks also. Now we have to draw this structure. So how to draw? So if we observe that semicircle structure is having radius 40 millimeter. So we have to take 40 millimeter distance. So total width is 80, and the center of the semicircle is in the middle point or passing through the middle point of the width. So this is the width, that is the total width. So we have to select the middle point and we have to draw the horizontal line. So this horizontal line is passing through the center of the semicircle. So we have to draw this in the form of dash and dot. Now what is the radius of the semicircle? That is 40. So in the compass we have to take the distance 40. So from this end point here, the total distance will be 40 millimeter, and here that will be the center. So we have to also draw here one vertical line passing through center. So this is also line in the form of dash and dot. Now this semicircle is getting completed, having R40. Now through that same center there is one hole. Now this hole is having 540, that means diameter is 40 millimeter given. Then what is the radius? That is 20 millimeter. So in the compass we have to take a distance 20 millimeter, and from that same center we will draw here one circle. So this construction is getting completed. So from the top we can clearly see this semicircular arc as well as this hole also. Now we can also see those 4 blocks, that is the construction of those 4 blocks. So we have to draw this. So how to draw this? So if we observe, we have to consider what is the width of those blocks. So now the gap is given. So gap is 40 millimeter is given in between those blocks. So now we will consider this. So we have to consider the dimensions along the width. while drawing this top view. So what is this gap 40 millimeter? That means this gap is passing from this middle point. So from this middle point we have to take the distance that is 20 millimeter above and below. So I will select one point. So here is the point that is 20 millimeter above this middle point and 20 millimeter above below this middle point. That means here is the total distance, that is gap is 40 millimeter. Now here is the gap, so we have to draw the horizontal line passing through these points. So I will draw here. So we have to draw the faint lines because this will be our projection lines. Main construction line I will show with the help of black marker. So this will be just our projection lines. Now here is this is the projection of the construction of the block from front view to the top view. So where are the intersection lines? So those intersection lines we will connect. So here is the block. So this is the construction of the block. In the same way here is also block. So we will complete this block. So at the four corners there are four blocks. So we have to complete these blocks. So in this way this block is getting completed. Now if we observe from the top view, this semicircle is not seen, but semicircular section is not seen, but it exists. So how we can show this? So this semicircular section is throughout this whole width. So we have to project this line. So how to project? So we will project this semicircle. Now we will project these end points of the semicircle. So I will draw the projection lines. So these projection lines I will draw with the help of red marker. Now in the same way, from this top view we can see the hole, but from the front we cannot see the hole, but it exists in this base structure. So we have to draw the projection of this hole also. So I will draw here the projection line with the help of red marker. Now we have to show how to show this. So where it exists? So it exists throughout the base, that is having 20 millimeter height. So I will show this in the form of dash lines. So we have to show in the form of dash. Now this is the center line. So this is the whole structure. So we have to also extend this center in this way. Now here is also the semicircle. So we have to extend this semicircle vertical line in the form of dash and dot, and we have to show this. So this semicircle is for this whole width having 80 millimeter width. So we have to show this extension in the form of dash. So here in the form of dash we have to show this whole structure. And this is the center. So we come to know that this is the semicircular structure is there. Now we will move for the side view. So side view, that is getting horizontally aligned with the front view, and we can also take the projection from this top view to the side view. Now here all the projection from the front view to the side view are taken, and that are the horizontal projections. So here we have to also take projection for this semicircle. So here is the construction. So take the horizontal projections. In the same way we have to take the projection from this top view to the side view. So this is the side view, this is front view, and this is the top view. Now these projections are getting completed. So first it is important to take the projection of this center line passing through the center, that is in the form of dash and dot. So I have taken it as it is, that is in the form of dash and dot. Then here is the construction of the blocks. So from the end point we have to take the projections. So if we observe the structure from the side, that is the from the left hand side of this three-dimensional object, then what we can clearly see? We can clearly see the base having height 20 millimeters. So we have to show this construction line. So I will show the construction line with the help of the black marker. So 20 millimeter height we have to show this construction. So this is the base that we have to show. Then there is the hole. Hole is exist, but we cannot be seen from the side view. So we have to take the projections of this hole also. And then for the projection, so what is its diameter? Diameter is 40. So we have to take here the 40, that is 20 millimeter distance on both the sides, and we have to draw here the projection that is in the form of dash. That means here that hole is exists. Then next is there is the construction. So this construction, the height is 48 millimeter. So for that height 48 millimeter, we have to select the height from the top, because in the given dimensions the height 48 millimeter is given from the top. So we have to select here 2 points that is having height 48 millimeter. Now up to this height there is the construction of the block. So if we observe, here is the block that we have completed, and here is the extension. So now we will complete the block, or there is the block structure up to 48 millimeter height. So now we will take here 48 millimeter height for the construction of the block, and now we will complete this construction. So this is the construction of block 48 millimeter height that is getting completed. Now in between this there is the gap. So here no any construction line, so we have to remove this line so that we can see clearly what is the construction. Now when we observe this object from this side, then there is the semicircle that will exist throughout that width, but it cannot be seen from the side view, but it exists. So here is the projection of this side view. So we have to show this in the form of dash. So here I will show in the form of dash throughout the width. That means here is the semicircle that is exists throughout the width. Now we will give the dimensions. So for this vertical construction, here the total height is given, that is 48. So we have to show here 48. So what is this base? So here base is 20 millimeter height. So we have to show this. And then the semicircle is having radius is 24. So we have to show here as a 24. In the same way, here what is the width? So this width is 80. So we have to show here as a 80. Now the maximum dimension should be completed. So here for this hole, diameter is 40, that is given. So we have to show here diameter is 40, and here also we have to show the radius of this curvature at this in the top view. So here what is the radius that is given? So R40 that is given. So we have to complete in this way. So this is the projection of the three-dimensional given object.